Moving on to Sony for a sec, just because they have have one that is kind of a thing last week, sort of Horizon Online is going to be the next thing from the Horizon series from Gorilla. It's not going to be the
Horizon
actual
3.
like Horizon
Yeah.
3 that people were hoping it would be. We've kind of heard the rumors about this before. Um, I don't know if this is supposed to be like just multiplayer or it's supposed to be the MMO. There's been like conflicting reports on.
I imagine
Yeah,
MMO, or to be like, you and 12 other hunters have to gather around and take out the level 14 robot dinosaur or something like that.
yeah.
Let me ask you, do you want this at all?
I'm not. I like the Horizon series as a concept. I like Aloy as a character. I like the games.
You
They're
can just
really
say
good.
no. It's fine.
But I
Like
no,
I'm
like
saying,
I just don't think that like who looks at Horizon and goes, I want to play. I guess you could have said the same for Last of Us, right? Though, but like nobody thought factions was going to be something, and then it wound up being something. So
yeah, but they also crushed out the live service part of that game, or like like we just want to make the next Last of Us game, or like make a single player game.
I kind of get it in a way, right? Because even though we always make the joke about Horizon somehow finds a way to come out at the same time as some other amazing game and it gets overshadowed, those games still sell well,
Right.
right? People obviously enjoy that series for whatever
I
reasons they do.
I
Yeah.
I enjoy it just fine enough. I didn't like the last one that much, but if they make a third one, I'll probably play it. But them going like, hey, it's a massively multiplayer game, or it's some live service thing, and it's like, well, if you do the battle pass, you get a new bow skin. It's like, great. Let's never do this, like
But at least that game sort of has something that you could say, okay, I could go in with some friends and hunt the robots, and this could make them want to keep making different ones that haven't been in the game before or something. And you can add some story into it that maybe leads into three, or they're parallel, but they have nothing to do with the main games. It's just adding on to the like lore of it.
all right.
Do you think it could work conceptually? Like they have a point in making it, or just this is like because I don't think it's going to be dead in the water because it's such a big franchise. Or like I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to try it out that wouldn't try out a Concord or a Fair Games or whatever other even
Let,
Marathon.
let's look at how many people tried out that Horizon VR game.
Yeah, but I think you're making people have to buy a whole other $500 peripheral. You're not having to buy anything extra for this. You're just having to buy the game, whatever they're going to charge you for it. If they
Right.
charge anything at all, I guess they can make it free. But I think
I,
being Horizon, they're going to charge. But sure,
I think I think it'll come out and it'll bomb spectacularly, and it
really,
may
okay.
it may do well for like the first month or two, but then it'll be like, oh, player counts 1,000 players, and it's like, yo, that's not enough to make this thing survive at all. Like,
Yeah, I
I
mean
I
this.
I,
You go.
I just think it's like wasted, just like such a backwards ideal. Because wasn't there some survey that said like people like most players prefer a single player game?
That's like 53%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out recently, and that's
So
not a huge percentage from what like that would be what 47% multiplayer. So
yeah, but you have to like how many of those 47% just pick one game and stick with it?
oh
I'd say a
yeah, definitely.
majority.
That's a
Yeah.
huge amount, right? But I think if you're going to go out on a limb and continue to make these, going off of established franchises is probably a better idea than making a new one. Where the last
I
time you did it, it worked, right? Helldivers 2 worked, even though it's
well,
sort of mostly different than the original Helldivers
Helldivers 2
1.
worked because the first game was already multiplayer. Like
Yeah,
it wasn't some single player thing. So that's why I think it's just a perspective change
yeah.
to a better perspective. But I think trying Ubisoft did it a few times with Assassin's Creed. Like they made like an online part of that. And after like 2 or 3 goes, they were like, screw it, who cares? No one cares. Like players don't care about this at all. So
It's interesting that they're adding co-op missions into Shadows now because of
yeah,
that.
they're gonna go back to the old. It wasn't Victory. I forget what the fuck they called it. The French one.
Unity?
Yeah, the one that bombed badly. Yeah.
Yes, that one. But yeah, I mean, we really don't know exactly what's all in it. They haven't revealed much of anything other than it's going to have a new cast, and
Right. I
who
mean,
knows if.
I I
Yeah.
I don't think. First of all, I don't think Aloy will be in it at all.
Yeah, I don't either. I think you kind of have to separate Aloy out. Maybe you have like Aloy being it at the beginning to kind of introduce it, and
Yeah.
then that's it. But
And
yeah,
once again, it's a shame that Lance Reddick has passed away because
yeah,
he would likely be like the mission giver or
exactly for this. Yeah,
I think the character's name was Silence or something, but like he'd be like the guy going like, oh, he'd be like the quartermaster or something.
at least they honored him in Astrobot.
Yeah.
So. Just another thing since we're on it was an important franchise to PlayStation's early years, Tekken, and because these are early PlayStation games that we're talking about, Harada was asked about what about a Tekken collection, and he said, "Well, I don't know because that era of graphics doesn't play as well
Right.
as the Marvel one." You think he's right about that? Like you can't have a Tekken collection; it doesn't sell as well.
I think. I mean, they're already like decent ray trace. I don't know if it's ray tracing, but like emulation efforts to like kind of punch that stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could do that if you really want to do, or just license out the tech or whatever. It still wouldn't look as good as like Tekken 8, obviously, but it would help. But
Right.
who cares? People still like Tekken 3 because you just kick match the kick butt with Eddie Gordo constantly, like or like Tekken Bowl and shit like that. So why not?
I agree.
I hate to say, I mean, I don't like Tekken at all. That's the thing, but like, it's probably the third longest lasting fighting franchise there is, behind like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. Uh, and those games have had collections before, so yeah, go for it.
And it also has crazy story. It has its own crazy story too.
Yeah,
Like,
the Tekken story is way crazier than anything Marvel or Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter's gotten into. So,
and thank you, Blood Guilty Gaming. Appreciate that. For liking and sharing. It's one of these things where it's like, it sucks because obviously it's a money thing, right? It's the same thing where like they've been asked, Bandai Namco's been asked about Xenosaga, right? Xenoblade's doing awesome. I bet there'd be a lot of people that would buy the Xenosaga games now. It's like, well, when we do focus groups, that doesn't play well, right?
right.
And it's like, it's kind of the same thing here of just, we got to know that there's support behind it before we can start making these, because we can't just put out something and then nobody buys it.
Thing.
And
I don't think they would have to actually do like Tekken 1 through 7. Like that would probably be a big haul. But I could like Tekken 1 through 5.
The ones that are not on modern consoles, right?
Yeah. Like I don't think the PS3 one. That'd probably be Tekken 6, maybe. But
yeah,
Tekken's 1 through 5. PS1, PS2 era Tekken. Sure.
Yeah.
Go
You
for it.
could release it
Oh,
for what, $50 and
yeah, borrow the emulation that Capcom's doing for their Capcom thing.
yeah,
Go, do
exactly.
that. Just plug in the ROM or plug in the ISO and be like, here you go.
But all right, moving on to Nintendo, who are once again being talked about not because of their games, not that Echoes of Wisdom is awesome, but I personally am just gonna wait till that's gonna be my like. Is Switch 2 that's gonna be like an extra launch game for me for Switch 2 at this point. Or maybe something I pick up early next year if there's like not a lot going on in January. I just don't really have any motivation to like do anything on my Switch. Um,
Yeah, once
it-
that card I got kind of died, I was like, I'm done at this for a while, I guess now.
yeah. So that it's being talked about because the other big emulator, not the Yuzu, the one that Nintendo shut down themselves. This time, they are sort of involved with the Ryujinx emulator being shut down.
Right.
This is from a
If by sort
post,
of you mean
yeah,
completely.
yeah, like they kind of, the post that was made on Discord basically alludes to like one of the developers got hit up by Nintendo to basically like, hey, what if we offer you this and this if you just shut the thing down?
What if we offer
And
we won't sue you into the end of the crater? That.
we technically can't sue you because this is like open source or whatever the heck was the reasoning. But what if we do this and this? And then he goes, next thing you know, he disappears, doesn't answer people's, texts and phone calls and stuff. And the other person that's like majorly involved with this has to announce that pretty much Reunions is gone.
The first guy's on
Uh,
the run. He's still gonna be programming the emulator in secret and
yeah.
uploading it from cyber cafes and shit like that. But
And also, not only to that, but Nintendo, sued that mod chip seller
right,
as well.
that'll go well for him.
And he agreed to like stop selling it, but he apparently is not going to seek legal counsel. He feels like he's going to just go at it alone at this point against them. He feels like he disputes the claims that Nintendo's making. That,
To quote Dodgeball, it's a bold tragedy, Cotton. Let's see how well it works out for
yeah.
him.
What do you like think about either one of these? Obviously, for the people that love emulation, this isn't great for.
I mean, I think current system emulation is kind of legally dubious. Let's say.
Mhm.
Uh, I think it should be valid if the system's not being sold anymore. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine because you can't get it in a fucking. They're not losing money anymore. But if you can still buy a Switch at a Best Buy or whatever, like, okay, this is it's a piracy thing. But then people who are going like, oh, I'm doing it because like I do have a Switch, but Zelda doesn't run great on it. It's like, well, you don't have to play Zelda. Like, if you don't like how it runs on a Switch, okay, move on.
Exactly. That's the thing is, oh, well, I want to test out the game before I spend the money on it because Nintendo's games never go on sale. Well,
Yeah, I only want to test out the game for 30 hours and then maybe see the credits and then
it's like, well, you know how Nintendo's practices are. It doesn't mean that you have to play the game also, right? It's like,
right.
I understand for the people that you don't have legit access to it, or
But that's still such like a minor.
yeah, or like the ones that if we're gonna say down the line when the console is no longer being made and that game particularly is not being made and you want to have a copy of it because that's the only way,
Right.
sure, whatever. But not when you're playing Legends of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom 2 weeks before the game came out. And I'm not talking about even the ones that got it early because of breaking street data over. I'm talking about the people that are just downloading it off a PC or off of a website or a link or
Yeah.
whatever, and you're playing it. And it's like, what do you expect Nintendo to do? You think that,
Right.
I mean, yes, this is a small amount of buys that are not happening, but if I'm Nintendo, what do you expect them to do? Just be like, oh yeah, it's cool that you played our game without buying it.
Right.
Like, it's like, I'm not trying to defend Nintendo as in they have some really bad anti-consumer practices. Okay, let's be fair about that. I'm not sitting here trying to say everything Nintendo does is great. It's not. But that is the way Nintendo has established themselves for eons.
Yeah.
And the thing is, people keep buying the remake or the collection that sucks. They didn't really updo those ports of Mario, but they bought them anyway. You know, the other remakes that they do, if they're not great, people still buy them anyway. So you're not teaching the company anything with your wallet. So then you're going to go, oh, we're going to go the piracy route. Well, what do you think the company's going to do?
Yeah.
It's like, it's just a weird take on like why you do it. I get the video game preservation part of it, but you can preserve it and just not use the current release route. You can wait until that system no longer is in service, and then you want to do that like we've always done with emulators, and you're going to go under the radar a lot more. But now you're getting to the point where Nintendo's also attacking people that are like showing YouTube videos of people like having emulated. It's emulated there on their console, and it's like, well, I don't know. They've always just been that terrible about that stuff. So
Yeah.
sucks for the people, but again, it's about and how you use it, right? All right. Any final things here? I gotta
Nope.
end
I'm
it
good.
before
Yep.
we So really quick here, before what's coming out, pretty much tomorrow, Silent Hill 2 remake for the people that didn't get it early. You can go get that, go play it. We already did. Mark's already played it. I'll have thoughts next week. Mark will have more thoughts. Mark will have thoughts on Diablo 4 Vessel Hatred. That comes out in a
Hour and
few
a half.
hours. There's obviously Metaphor Fantasio. We'll also have thoughts on that too. That comes out. Sky Ocean Wings for Hire, the like kind of Scars of Arcadia indie version. That comes out this week as well. Europa comes out on PC and Switch. That's like the kind of like platforming Breath of the Wild sort of cool looking game that has some really awesome sights. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero also comes out Friday. I'm
I can
sure Sony. Yeah,
finally know who's gonna win, Goku Z mid or Goku Z end.
yeah, that's got some major like big time pre-orders. People have been waiting for that game.
Yeah.
Transformers Galactic Trials also comes out same day. Starship Troopers Extermination also comes out the same day. So got some interesting stuff coming here all in the same a week. Backyard Baseball 97. Awesome that they're bringing that back. I think that's cool. I remember playing that back in the day. Yeah, so there's some really good games, kind of something for everyone coming this week. This is the most packed month, and the next week we already got another great week of stuff with Neva, the New World Arternium, even Just Dance for people, 8-Bit Adventures too, some other things. So, yeah. All right. So, thank you everybody who watched, listened, all that stuff, whether you watch live or you watch later or you listen later. We do appreciate you. Go write us a review on whatever podcast source you use, and everybody that's affected by the storm, be safe and evacuate if you need to. And we'll see you here next week.
Later.
Bye.